So let's talk about what makes good organization strategy. So the number one thing that makes good organization strategy is uniformity of work. So that's represented on an org chart through departments. So you'll see this department is getting the business, marketing, strategy, advertising, sales, getting new business in the door. That's their uniform of work. So it's about the growing of the business, the getting new business in the door. In the middle here is operations. This is the doing the business. So all of these positions here are all about the delivering of the products or services that were sold. So that's their work, and that's their clear objective. And then you have admin finance, or sometimes it's called the office processes, over here in this department. We call this running the business. So these are the support positions. The purpose of these positions is to support the rest of the company in their objective. So to support the operations department in the doing of the work, the delivering of the products or services in a profitable way, and then they're to support the marketing department by any services or support that they need for getting the business. So you can see with these kind of objectives in mind, illustrated by the departments, that if you have positions within those departments that are all aligned with that objective, that creates the uniformity of work. Another uniformity of work principle is management. So up here, all of these positions, so this whole line here, all the way up to the board of directors, they're about getting results through other people. They still consider the objective, like this person, really their objective is to grow the business, get new leads, sell those leads. But at the same time, their objective is to manage the positions underneath them in doing that. So getting results through those people aligned with their objective. So I point that out because this managerial structure in any organization strategy or any business is essential as well. And we call this the guiding the business, all of these positions here. So having said that, let's go through each of the departments and kind of talk about how to structure within each of the departments. So number one, with this uniformity of work in mind, then let's talk about sales and marketing. So within any sales and marketing department, the key objectives are to generate leads and then to convert those leads. So in this overall principle of the objective being to grow the business, within that there are sub-objectives, you might say, that each position should hold on to. One is generate leads, get leads, and the other is convert those leads. So in your own individual situation in your business, then just try to consider what your version of that is. What positions do you need to be generating leads? What positions do you need to be converting leads? So in this example, like sales right here, and I'm just going to move this position back because it really belongs there. So sales is about the converting of the leads. These positions here are about the about the generating of the leads. And this person up here manages all of that. Sometimes I see in small businesses where those two objectives get combined. So you just have sales people, quote unquote, and they're meant to generate all their own leads and to convert all those leads. Well, if you view it that way, then you're missing the value of more of a segmented purpose of positions, particularly in today's environment where there's a lot of internet activities that can generate leads for most businesses. So a lot of that lead generation activity can be automated. So with the idea being that you have positions and also infrastructure in place that generates qualified leads, and then these people right here, all they do is sit all day long and convert those leads. It's much more efficient that way, rather than having these people bogged down with anybody and everybody and maybe even a dearth of leads, nobody, and then they've got to not only generate and filter all those leads, but then they have to convert those leads. So within your sales and marketing, think about what are your lead generating positions, and then what are your conversion positions. Now, set in an overall business strategy, you can also think about it even more specific than that, and think to yourself, if my business is going to grow to a certain amount, how many leads am I going to need, and at what rate are those going to be converted? So that puts a bit of science on marketing, which I feel like marketing is a science. It's not an art. So that helps with organization strategy within the marketing and sales department, because you can start to mirror that with your overall business goals. So I'll say it one more time. Like, let's imagine this company here is going to grow 50% over the next 2 years. I would need to say, okay, how many leads are we going to have to generate, and how are we going to generate those leads? And then at what rate do we need to convert them in order to grow the business 50% over the next 2 years? So that helps you think about your business in the future and really analyze this department and decide, what positions do we need? What processes do we need? What do we need to implement and do in order to grow the business and meet the objectives that we've set out to achieve? So sales and marketing, all the leads are coming in, they're getting converted, and then we go to operations. So all the leads that are generated here and the sales that are converted are then put on this department to then deliver in a profitable way. So this is where the rubber meets the road, really, in a lot of businesses. You can sell sometimes all day long, but if you can't deliver that product or service in a profitable way, in an effective way, then that's where businesses fail a lot of times. And we've all heard these wild statistics about how 85% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. What's even more alarming is if you've made it past that 5 years, maybe you're into 10 or 15 years, something like 75% are not profitable even after the 5 to 10 years. That means people might be getting paid, the owner might even be getting paid, but there's no net profit in that business left over for the people up here, the shareholders. So when I used to be an efficiency expert, and when we look at this, really clearly in businesses, this whole department is where it typically falls apart. So there's a few pointers for organization strategy that I'll just show here. One of them that you see is these levels right here. So entry level, lead, senior. You even see it here: sales assistant, lead. What this demonstrates is how to grow your own talent from within. So in a growing business, if you have a successful operations department and then you take 20, 30, even 10% more sales and dump it on that department, if you don't have a way to develop your talent and the skills of those people within that department in an efficient way, then you're dumping more sales onto something that can't handle those sales or handles it in a dysfunctional way. This whole notion of, oh, here comes all the sales, let's just go hire, 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 that always fails because the new hires have to be trained. And if you think they don't have to be trained and they can just wander around and watch other people do, the work and get it over time, that's where you're losing money. So to prepare for this with good organization strategy, imagine what it would take to hire someone at an entry level, train them here as an apprentice, have it last for a month, train them up here till they're a lead, and then they become a senior tech, or whatever your version of this is. It could be 2 levels deep if you have a simpler product or service that you deliver. It might be 4 levels deep if you have a more complicated service that you deliver. So what this does is it shows you and it helps you to see how to really scale your business. So when I hire people, they start at the apprentice level, and I know they need to learn these 7 processes. And you could even, once you've documented these processes, this is the training for this apprentice, you could even say to yourself, well, how long does it take them to learn how to clean the warehouse? How long does it take them to learn how to the client intake process? And you could ascribe a time to each one of these, 2 days, 1 week, 5 weeks. Then you times that by what you're paying this person plus the management percentage, and then you kind of know, how long and how much money it's going to cost to bring someone from here to here. Now that's really powerful information as a small business owner, because then you can control it a little bit better. So you know when sales come in over here, you've got to ramp these people up, and it's going to take you 2 months to bring someone from here to here. It also helps you with dealing with difficult employees. So people that you have just hanging around, and they may not do the best work, and they have a bad attitude, but you're afraid to get rid of them because, oh no, what happens when we have so much work and we don't know what to do? So this kind of structure is really useful for planning and development in a business. In a growing small business, there's always a balancing act between sales and marketing here and operations. It's constantly, all of you know it. Unless you have, a lot of money and you can just develop your operations department to this really efficient level, and then you can just let those people be and then go over to sales and marketing and dump a bunch of money into that and then slowly grow your business. Unless you have the resources to do that, it's really this juggling act between, do we have enough sales, and then do we have enough people to deliver those sales? Do we have too many people, and then we don't have enough sales? It's always this up and down. So organization strategy and looking at this more in a strategic way can kind of help you get through it a little bit easier. One of the biggest problems that operational departments have to encounter is the training of your employees. I think there's this fallacy that exists out there where you always think you're going to be able to go and find this person every single time. Like, we need more technicians, we need more service people, we need more operational people, we need more consultants, whatever your version of that is. And then you go out, okay, let's go out and find these people. And then you're saying things to yourself like, we can't find any good people. Nobody does it like I do it. I can't believe we hired that guy and paid him all this money and he can't even, and then he made this huge mistake. We can't find good people. They're just not out there. The economy's terrible. Our town is terrible to find good people. So all these excuses, and the issue is you're trying to find this person. And it's further compounded because sometimes you get lucky and you do find this person. But that's not a way to grow a business. You need to know that you can scale when you need to. And unfortunately, the only way to establish that is to be able to grow your own talent from within. So then that takes us to this, the support department, the office processes. So think to yourself, what in this growing business, what is enough support for the business itself? I think the office processes or the running the business gets kind of a bad rap sometimes because it's considered overhead. Like it's, oh, what are these people really doing? Well, the truth of the matter is this department is everything for the business. If you don't have enough people helping with recruiting and hiring, answering the phone, filing things, keeping the computer systems running, taking all the financial information and putting it into an accounting system and then spitting out reports which tells everybody what's going on in the business. If you don't have that, then all of these people are suffering. The getting the business and the doing the business is suffering. So think about how these overhead positions, how that support can make the rest of it more efficient. So just a few things I'll highlight within this department. Have some kind of IT processes. You can outsource it, whatever it takes. Most small businesses can't have big IT departments, but have a resource for that and really follow those processes, because some of you know what it's like to come into the office or to turn on your computer and the network's down. The computer doesn't work. The system has crashed. This software isn't working. There's nothing that halts business activity more than that. So think about this. It's like preparing for what you don't know is coming. Think about your admin support, like receptionist. This is the first glimpse that customers get of your business. So who's answering the phone? What are they saying? Where's all the paperwork? What does your file system look like? Is it organized? Is somebody there keeping things up to date? And then bookkeeping, finance, I can't say enough about that. You got to have all your financial information getting into the accounting system entered correctly so that by the 5th or 6th or even the 8th day of the next month, you know what happened in the previous month. It's unacceptable to be 3-4 months down the road and have all that information and then, oh, crap, 5 months ago this happened, and you don't see it until it's too late. Or the worst is bad receivables. Like you just don't know who owes you money and how long it's been out there. There's inside our resource center, there's a great blog article written about that, about the cost of lost receivables, because it's not just that money really, it's that money times all this expense, your sales and marketing expense, your delivery and service expense. And then every month that goes by that you don't collect that money, it's getting harder and harder to collect. I talked a bit about efficiency here and productivity and the levels and training. Well, the operational department doesn't know if it's profitable or if it's delivering its products or services in a profitable way unless there's reports telling them that. Sometimes it's as simple as where did these people work today? How much time did they spend? What job do we attribute that to? And then you add that up over time, and you can tell at the end of it if whatever it was sold for over here and whatever it was delivered at over here, did that work out for you? But you can't even begin to get your arms around those numbers unless you've got people doing the data entry, coming up with reports, giving those reports to the manager, and evaluating it. And it becomes even more relevant for businesses that deal with cost of goods sold, because as you all know, cost of goods sold is a percentage of sales. So if that percentage goes up, then it's eating away at the profits. And you can get as many sales as you want over here all day long. You could be selling 5 times or 50 times more than you ever sold before in a month. And if these people aren't delivering it in a profitable way, you'll never see any more money. So that is all handled by having, good bookkeeping and good computer systems that give you that information. So that's the 3 departments. Your business might have 4 or 5 departments. It really just depends on what your structure is. Sometimes there are 2 operational departments, like one for service and one for operations. Inside of real estate or financial planning businesses, your key department is the marketing and sales department, and then you have a much smaller version of delivery, which might handle, the distributor of what you're selling. So there are different versions of this, but number 1, think of uniformity of work. Number 2, think about efficiency. Look into the future. Think about the structure of each of these departments. Think about the levels that you might have. When you're building your organization strategy, if I didn't make this point already, you really want to look into the future. You want to build it for the future, build it for where you're going. What happens in the current situation is people in your company are filling more than one position on the chart. So as the business owner, you might be the chairman of the board, the owner, the entrepreneur. That's what this position represents. You might also be the president who manages each of the key departments. And maybe you're also the sales manager, just because your business is still growing. It's better to structure the organization chart this way, so you're looking into the future and then seeing different people in the different boxes for the work that they represent. So I'll give you a good example of that. So in a lot of small businesses, people often wear a lot of hats. Like they do a lot of things. They multitask. They've got work going on all over the place. And that's a product of in growing businesses, there's a lot to be done. And when you hire someone and were hired for one particular purpose, but then they were good at other things, and so then you just started saying, well, you got to do this and this and this, and then maybe that is a really great employee, and so they're all over the place, and you think, man, this guy is great. He's doing everything I'm asking him to do. You have positions that were hired for one purpose and then end up serving another. Very common in small business. The issue with that is it doesn't hold true to the uniformity of work, right? If we say that that's a good principle of organization strategy, if I have a guy who is a sales lead and then he also fills in the warehouse and then he's also answering the phone and doing the filing over here, and he's such a good sales lead, I told him to, maybe he could like look over this position and kind of be the manager of marketing and sales because he's really good at working with this person who's been there for 10 years. So it's this kind of quagmire of where are you going to put this guy? What is he doing? So that is called people dependency. It's also a very inefficient way to get work done because this person who is in all these boxes is just run ragged. They're all over the place. They're doing a little bit of sales and then a little bit of operations and then, they're answering the phone and then they got to do the filing and then, this person has a problem. And so now they're trying to be the manager and everyone's saying, where are the reports? And it's a very stressful way to go to work every day. And those of you who are small business owners and even managers on the line, you've probably all been in this situation. It's like the multitasking, multi-hats, multi-objectives. You're frantic. It's the situation where you come into work every day and you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do these things. And then, suddenly it's 6, 7 o'clock at night and you haven't done any of those things because you've just been pulled in a million different directions. It's super stressful for people as well. So how organization strategy can help with that is if you have people who span the organization chart, do all kinds of things, start to put their name in the boxes. So make this person the sales lead, make this person the warehouse associate, make this person the receptionist. So his name or her name is in all three of those boxes. First of all, what it does is it identifies what it is. What the positions they're filling, which is useful. Then when you get to the point where you actually document the job descriptions, I can see if I'm filling in as the bookkeeper, these are the 6 things that I do. And nobody can ask me to do different things than this. It's these 6 things. And I also know if I am the sales assistant or sales lead, then there are these 9 things that I do or 10 things that I do. So it's structuring it for that person, which helps with efficiency. So that's the first result that you can get by doing future org chart and then putting names in boxes. The second thing you can do is start to work to correct what's happening to that person. So have a goal of by Q4 2018 or whatever the goal needs to be, you're going to hire in the operations manager, move yourself or someone out of that box so you can just be the president. Or hire by Q1 2019, you're going to hire in an actual appointment setter so that this person who's now doing that would just be a full-time sales lead. So you do quarters of the year, just look into the future and say, as we start to grow, as we implement, as X, Y, and Z happens, how will we hire positions in and create this uniformity of work? So even in the chaos that might be your business now, you can start to move your way out of it by using a good organization strategy. Have the org chart be your hiring plan. Who are you going to hire? When? How many people? So that goes to how to use this organization chart to really help you guide your business. Organization strategy or an organization chart is one of the fundamental strategic tools that every small business owner should have. This org chart inside of TouchSone goes, even further than that in being useful, because of the fact that ultimately I'm going to create processes for every position like this one. Then I'm going to document those processes. So I'm going to have a complete system for how to clean the warehouse, which may sound simple, but oftentimes it's not. So this complete documented system for this. I can do things with this organization strategy in TouchSone, like add up all the time and training it's going to take and money to hire this apprentice technician. I can use these processes to understand whether this person I've hired is doing it well or not, or is learning fast enough, so it can correct poor hiring decisions. It gives the people, your people, this kind of guide or direction for their position, purpose for their position. So I'm going to be this, and then I'm going to move here, and then I'm going to move here. That sets you apart from your competition and allows you to keep good people. So sit down and rethink your organization chart if you need to. Think about it in terms of the future, where your business is going. Consider how you can grow your own talent from within. And if this has inspired you, maybe rebuild your organization chart. One of the questions that I always like, and no one's asking it, but I'm just going to bring it up anyway in case people are thinking it, is when we talk about a structure like this one and the time and expense it takes to grow someone from here to here to here, say, oftentimes people are thinking, well, why would I spend all that time and money training someone and then they just leave and they go to work for their competition, or they move away, or they go to a different industry? The answer to that is you have to create a game worth playing. That's what Michael Gerber describes in the E-Myth, or in the book Good to Great, that's discussed as well. You have to create a place people want to be. You have to have good management, where managers are nurturing your employees. They're helping them develop as people, and they're helping them to develop in their profession. They're supporting them. One of the number one reasons that people leave a business is because of bad management. And I think that often comes from promoting people beyond their capabilities. So you've got a good salesperson, and then you're like, oh, you should be the manager. Well, that person's doesn't have any management processes to support them, doesn't have any management experience, and suddenly you're putting them in charge of your most important asset, which is your people. Or you as the business owner, you're not a good manager. So, you might do your technical work really well. You might be the most fabulous entrepreneur in the world, but you're a horrible manager. Most entrepreneurs are idea people. Michael Gerber also called it the monkey mind. Like, you're jumping around, like, all the different ideas, and that's what makes you so great. But because of that, you don't have the patience for people. You're always mad at them, whatever it is. So management is a good component of creating a game worth playing. Do things for your people. Create a place they want to be. The simple fact that you have training is key for a lot of people, but also good management processes. So your long-term answer to keeping good people is make a happy environment. Create a place where people feel alive. They feel like they have meaning. They feel like they have purpose. Do training.